Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you are all fine. On my side, I'm fine too. And here we are today. You know, we are meeting again to learn about money management. And today we are covering chapter 5, which will be on gathering information. Maybe some of you may be wondering what is gathering information. I'm sure the word information is known to us. Gathering information means trying to look for information and then we put them together. This is what gathering information means. So in this lesson, we think that by the end of it, you will be able to name different kinds of money that comes in and out of your household. This means that money which comes in your household and also some money which goes out. How do we call them? Second, you will be able to name different kinds of financial assets. Remember, last time we have been talking about assets and the different types of assets. So I think we have already information on financial assets. And we are also going to know what are liabilities. There is another word which is important in this chapter. Net worth. What does it mean? And how can you calculate your net worth? Important also, we are going to define record keeping. What is record keeping? Because by knowing what it is, you will be able to prepare a basic record of your own income and expenses. Going back to definitions of the key words which are in this chapter, what is an income? An income is money you receive. I'm sure we are receiving sometimes paycheck for parents for maybe child tax benefit, and generally it is monthly. Any money we receive, it may be bi-weekly, maybe wages and the salaries, it can be maybe social assistance money. All this money we receive is called income. Paycheck is an income. Financial assets, as we defined it last time, are things you own with cash value. Look at this word, own. This means that there are things or it is cash that you have. This is for you. And it has money value, cash value. We call it financial assets. We have a note here of $20. This is cash. This is a financial asset. Look at this car. Why do we call it financial asset? As we said last time, because it has a cash value. If we sell it, we can have money from it, then it is a financial asset. Expenses, I think it is more likely to be familiar to all of us. Expenses are things you spend money on. I'm sure if we have money, we are buying things and we spend the money. Sometimes on transportation, if maybe we have a bus pass, this is an expense. We are paying monthly, or we buy the card for a whole month or a week or some weeks. When we buy food at grocery stores, you see, we are spending money too. Now, liabilities, which is very important for this chapter. Liabilities are things you owe money on. Previously, we talked about own, and here you see it is O, O-W-E. What does it mean? These are things you received, but you received them thanks to a debt or a loan from a friend or even from a bank. So, true, you looked for a loan, a debt, but you get money, but we don't think really it is totally yours, though you can use it. But always you think, oh, I have to pay it back. So it is not totally your money because you have to pay it back. That's why we call it, we say you are liable to the person who gave you the money. If you had a car loan, if you have maybe loan to buy mortgage, purchase a mortgage, yeah, we call it a loan, and this is a liability. Net worth, important. Net worth is the amount of money which is a difference between the value of what you own. You have things which have cash value and the value of what you own. Then the difference between the value of what you own, what you have, and what you have to give back to the person who gave you money, we call it net worth. Or the liability difference between assets and the liabilities, we call it net worth. Record keeping. You see, we are talking about gathering information. So this information have to be kept somewhere, you see. Record keeping is keeping a list or information about income and expenses. We can have them on a list, or we can organize them in a chart. This means that all information about money, income, expenses, then they are listed somewhere. They are recorded so that we can see where they are written. Maybe let us give an example. From this chart below, we have items which are income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. So when you see this list, look. We have a net income, we see the amount, and we see the amount for the cash. Also, car loan, monthly payment, furniture, hydro, food, car loan, bus pass. So, because we have been talking about income now, we know what it is, expenses now, we already know what it is about, assets and liabilities. Go through this list and try to name them. Where is the income? Cash. Is it expense? Is it income? Is it liability? Or is it an asset? So my question is for you to name everything you see on this list. Where is the income? Where is the liabilities? What are expenses here? This is what we can do. I think from net income it is really very simple. As you see, income is 1,200. It can be, I gave an example of John's information. This information I'm talking about is about money. So John's information, he has a net income of 1,200, and as a cash, he has 500. So is it cash income, or is it an asset or liability? Cash will be an asset. 1,200 is the net income. What about car loan monthly payment? Is it an expense or is it liability? Anyway, it is a monthly payment for a loan we took for a car. This goes on the list of expenses because you see this is the money you are expending every month. That's why we call it an expense. Furniture. Is it an asset? Is it a liability? How can we call it, Furniture worth 2,500, it can be maybe costing 1,000 or more. We say it is an asset. And why? It is an asset because it has a cash value. If we sell it, we are able to have cash from it, then furniture is an asset, because you see it has even a very important value, 2,500. Hydro. I think it is all of us. We pay hydro every single month. These are utilities in our home because we are using water, even sometimes electricity bills. All these are expenses. What about money we use when we are buying food? All these are called expenses. Car loan. Is it an expense or is it a liability? You see, it is a loan. It is a liability because I ask money from somewhere, or you ask money from a bank or your friend, and you have to pay it back. That's why it is called liability. Car loan then is a liability. Bus pass. If John is buying 2 bus pass, let us say for 160 for him and wife, then this is an expense because it is money he's expending every single month. Now let us organize the information we have here nicely so that we can put all liabilities together, or expenses, the income, and assets all together. Look at here. As we said, our chapter is about gathering information. We have information now. We have liabilities, assets, expenses, income. When we are gathering information, as we said, we can make a list and we can make a chart. So the best way to do it is to organize it in a way that is clear. At least you can know, what is my income? Look here. Your income is 1,200, and it is specified that it is an income worth 1,200. Look at the expenses. We have put all of them together. So that why? Because we will be able to know from the income what is the total amount for which we used for expenses. So that's why you see we organize them in a nice way so that we know the total amount for the expenses. What are the assets? From the previous example, we said that furniture is an asset and the cash. Look, we are putting all assets together. Cash 500, furniture 2,500, and you see what is the total for the assets we have here. 3,000. Liability. Again, from the previous example, we have seen that car loan is the only liability we have here, and we have to list it in a chart in an appropriate way. This is where it is listed, car loan 2,000, and the total of liability will be 2,000. So now we are talking about net worth, which is the difference, as we said, between what you own and what you owe. Now, from this chart, we have to see what we own and what we owe. What do we have as assets is what we owe. Cash and furniture, total 3,000, is our asset. This is really what we have. Because we cannot add 1,200 as income. You see, from the income, we have already taken out 700 for the expenses. So now, what we have now is what we own. Then we own cash 500, then the furniture 2,500, and the liability is 2,000. So the net worth here will be then what we own, which are assets, minus what we owe, which is 2,000, and then the total amount will be 1,000. 3,000 minus 2,000 is 1,000. So we can say here that really we are doing well, because finally we have something we own. We have 1,000 already that we own. So we own, which is really interesting. So look at the balances here, and you can tell me where we are situated currently. Anyway, we have a positive balance. Maybe we can put ourselves here because what we own, we have something positive. But if we had maybe minus even 200, our balance will not be the way it is there, and we will be in trouble. Look, if maybe what we own and what we have it equals, then the balance is equal. So when we are talking about money, so it is good to know if our balance is negative or positive. Otherwise, we can be in trouble. So record keeping is a list of a chart of your house actual income and expenses after they happen. Now I will give you some examples again. And the records to be organized, as I said, we organize it. Mainly, we should do it monthly so that we know our income, monthly income and expenses. Then at the end, we know what is remaining for us at the end of every month. So the first step in record keeping and the budgeting is to know, as we said, your income and expenses. And we have to know our assets and liabilities so that we are able to know if we are doing well or not financially. So in short, what are the benefits for a good record keeping? It can help us by telling what type of things we are spending money on. Because if we have made a list, you can see, how much have I spent on groceries? Maybe on other things were all important or not, then you can see if you are doing well. Because you have listed them. Because you have a chart where you have written them. Then you can assess the situation and evaluate. It will also tell you which expenses happen every month, you see. Which expenses only happen once in a while. Then you can evaluate if you are spending your money wisely or not. And again, you will see how much money you have for savings and emergencies, because you have listed everything. You know your expenses and income. So you can make the difference and you say, oh, I can save this X amount of money so that I can be able to plan for other projects or other future goals. So now the question is to know how to organize the information. We say that we have information, income, expense, liabilities, we all know. We know our assets. So this information, we can put it on a list. A list, we start by A, B, C, D. But if we don't organize it in an appropriate way, it will not be very helpful. Remember, we put income together, expenses together, assets and liabilities together. Look here, for example. We have to ask ourselves, maybe if we ask ourselves, what are things we have in our house or maybe somewhere else which can help us maybe to organize the informations? What are the informations we have? Where can we find the information about our money? Here you can see some examples. How are we able to put all information together so that we are able to follow, to track them? Here we have a whole basket of receipts, different types of receipts. Maybe hydro receipt, maybe you paid for food, we put all together in this basket. Do you think that it will be maybe easy for us to know how much money we spend on food? It will be hard if we put all things all together. So we have to create also methods on how we can organize information in such way which can help us to have information easily and quickly. So when we have receipts maybe from stores and other receipts, we have bills, it is good to organize them in a way, such a way that things from the same category go together. For example, we can organize them in envelopes, for example. Maybe we have an envelope for hydro bills, we can have an envelope for electricity bills, maybe also have bills for food. We can have bills for other different type of expenses. Now, how can we make a list? I said that we can put receipts in categories, and then we can know the total amount for each category. So where else can we find information related to money? We can find it in a statement, account statement. So I hope, probably you may be having, maybe sometimes a month, bank statement. The banks will send you bank statement. As you see, this is an example of bank statement. And you can see how you have been spending your money. This is also something important which can help you to track your money. So we track money through receipts, we track money through account statement, and all this information, as I said, we can put them in categories and we can write them maybe on a list or in a notebook, we can list them, or we can create a spreadsheet maybe in a computer. But always, I said, we have to organize things well, put things in the same in different categories, so that we are able to know the total amount for each expenses category. So this is what we say, organizing. We collect information, we gather them, and we organize them appropriately so that it is easier for us to track the information. So if you see the example here on page 511 in your book, you can see there. So you will find a sheet whereby you see things are organized in categories. The amount for the rent, you can see it easily, for food, hydro, eating out, cell phone payment, laundry, and then you will see the total amount of expenses, which is really very great. And what we call actual expenses or actual income. So from what we said, you see net income, you can see the actual net income, you can write it down because you know it. Now from the expenses, rent, it is expense which is coming monthly. You see John paid for 50 on food when you are buying, when you are listing it. You have to, every time you buy, you put the amount. Then you put a comma. What did I bought yesterday, today? What will I will have bought next week? I put together. Then I will put the total here. We call it actual amount for this expense. Hydro, you see same, and you see total expenses will be $1,110. You see, it is clear. You can see clearly the expenses and incomes, and the balance should be positive and negative. Here we are lucky, it is positive 190. So you see, then John had said something. So as we said, we are talking about gathering information, but information should be organized in an appropriate way so that we are able to know what do we own, what do we have, what are the liabilities, what are my incomes. As we said, we have sometimes different types of income. We have to add that together and we know the total amount of income. And we have to know the expenses so that we know what are our balance. If we don't do like this, you remember, we talked about goal setting and we said that most of the time it needs money. So if you want maybe to buy maybe a laptop, maybe in 6 months you have to know what are my incomes, what is my income, and what are my expenses, so that you are able to know this is the amount I can save every month and then I will be able to buy the laptop maybe in 6 months, 4 months, or 5 months. This is how we should be doing. I hope this has been useful for you today. If you have any question again, call me. You know my phone number, 204-306-9850. And hopefully that you are all saving. I hope you have all saved money for the program. If you haven't opened yet your match saving account, please call me again. And again, you know that every week I call you Thursday or Friday so that we can discuss about the program. So I will call you next week so that we can discuss about this chapter on gathering information. So you will receive also a homework, and you go on page 512. This is the homework. It is a weekly homework. Now we've been talking about gathering information and record keeping. I want you to record all the information about how you are going to spend your money, and this will be a weekly record keeping. You go on page 512 and you will see the chart I want you to fill out. This will be your weekly record keeping. As you see, my record of income and expense for a week. So I really invite all of you to do it. You see, when does your money go? Where does it go? This is a record of your income and spending for 1 week, so that you are able to track your money. You are able to track your money. So here is the chart. Name of the expense. You remember we talked about food. Maybe food, you put it here. I know you pay for rent or a mortgage, you put all your expenses here. For your income, this is where you will put it. You will put your current income. Now you know your income. If you don't know, you can go from your bank account. I don't know if you know, maybe you have some cash with you. So you make the total and it will be your income. And now expenses, as you buy every single day, you write the numbers here. Then as you said, we make the total, we put it, and you see the total expenses, you put it here, and now the balance, the difference between income and expenses, then you will put it here. So this is just one of the examples, and you will see how good you are or how you are not good at spending money in a week. This will help us for the next chapter, whereby we'll be talking about the budget, whereby we can see monthly. How do we do monthly? Are we doing well so that we can have a positive balance? Or maybe we are negative and we have to adjust our way of maybe using money. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope to see you next week. Have a wonderful day.